there's this phenomenon that's been going on called FTX. So today we'll be reacting to the red flags on FTX. We all seem to miss. I don't even know what FTX is, but I know lots of people lost money. So let's check it out.
Bankman-Fried's crypto empire has crumbled all around him. It's safe to say there were red flags all over the place, but we missed them. FTX was a success story almost too good to resist. In just over 3 years, it went from nothing to a $32 billion company. And along the way, journalists, investors, politicians, regulators all dropped the ball. One of the biggest red flags to FTX's demise came from Sam Bankman-Fried, or SBF, himself, during a talk with David Rubenstein.
Like one of the things that the previous 2 years have done to us, and they've made us, as we've become progressive, is it's made it almost impossible for people to make judgment calls. Like, listen, I don't care if if you come into my office and you have a $32 billion company and you're dressed like this, nah, no, something is off. You know what I mean? We gotta do some due diligence here.
Founders of the Carlyle Group and a TV host on Bloomberg. SBF explained his reason for creating FTX came from frustrations he was experiencing at Alameda Research, his crypto-focused proprietary trading firm. Alameda was making lots of money, but had the potential to make more. It was just that venture capital wasn't lining up to give cash to traders in their 20s, regardless of their purported 100% annualized returns. So Alameda relied on putting together lines of credit to build its capital base. By creating his own exchange in FTX, SBF could create a platform tailored to Alameda's trading needs and tick all the boxes for attracting VC money. Now that SBF had an exchange, VC money started coming in. But there was an obvious issue with this approach. Alameda, a proprietary trading firm, would now be under the same leadership as an exchange open to the public. Whether it was planned from the start or a last-ditch effort when things got tough.
So they needed capital, and then they started this exchange. That's a genius move, though. You gotta respect him for this. Like,
this structure allowed FTX to be used as a cash cow to keep Alameda afloat. Another red flag came from an appearance in April on Bloomberg's Odd Lots podcast, when Bankman-Fried explained how value could be created from nothing using tokens. What he described was a process similar to what we now suspect FTX and Alameda were doing. FTX's token, FTT, was being propped up by Alameda, and Alameda was allegedly using the token as collateral to fund its own trading activities. Borrowing money to trade has the potential to amplify gains, but it can also lead to devastating losses. While all the details have yet to emerge, it appears so far that Alameda's tactic of borrowing to trade contributed to its demise. Investors who handed over hundreds of millions to FTX might have been mesmerized by SBF's vision, but they were not kept in check by regulators or the media. SBF was a mainstay on podcasts and conferences, a fixture on magazine covers including Forbes, and was very easy for reporters to reach, even on deadline. He also opened up his life to the biggest name in financial journalism. Michael Lewis, the author of The Big Short, was reportedly following SBF around for his latest book. Along the way, few questions were asked about how the company grew so fast, and the cozy relationship built between Bankman-Fried and FTX with reporters may have prevented closer scrutiny. In one particular bizarre incident, Brett Harrison, who was the president of FTX's US crypto exchange, left the company in late September without providing a reason. But instead of asking him why, some journalists decided to shoot a TikTok video with him joking about the situation.
see,
Government
this is
also
what I
had a
mean. We live in a world with a big problem. Like, yo, how y'all make a TikTok of a CEO leaving a company? Like, y'all just gonna make a TikTok, do some dances and stuff like that. This is like, when we start holding people accountable, we have to hold everybody, including journalists, because, like, man, come on.
reason to be chummy with FTX. SBF donated nearly $40 million to candidates during the midterms, testified to Congress on a number of subjects including regulating crypto markets, and the records show he personally met with SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. CFTC Commissioner Caroline Pham also deleted a photo of her and SBF together, posted on her Twitter page. But there were some trying to sound the alarm before everything came crashing down. Orthogonal Credit, a former lender to Alameda Research, said it severed its relationship with Alameda earlier this year. In a due diligence on Alameda, Orthogonal pointed out the company had declining asset quality, unclear capital policy, less than robust operational and business practices, and an increasingly Byzantine corporate structure. Mark Cohodes, the perennial short seller known for pointing out market frauds, put it in even simpler terms. In my view, nothing ever added up. I think SBF will make Bernie Madoff look
How
like
do you
Jesus
make Bernie
Christ.
Madoff look like Jesus Christ? Oh yeah, I mean it's $32 billion, mate. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to these techpreneurs, I feel like we are now at a point in time where we have to actually start asking questions to all of them. Because I remember once upon a time when Twitter was coming up and was being valued at these crazy amounts of dollars, they were like, "Oh yeah, it's a good business. We just don't know how it makes revenue." And for me, that was a big problem. I was like, "How do you have a multi-billion-dollar company that doesn't make revenue?" The same with Facebook. The same with all this. It's like, what do these tech companies actually do? Like, what's the utility to these things? Like, are they good to have? Like, what's the point? And then before we could figure it out, with all social media came crypto. And crypto for me has been weird because a lot of times when people are explaining to you how crypto works, they'll tell you about the technology, but everything in a nutshell seems to be based off of hope and trust. Like, we're just hoping one day these things turn into something. And then at this point, we are trusting the people who are creating these technologies to be great people, to be good people who are better than the governments. Like, that's been the main issues. We don't trust the government. We trust entrepreneurs because they're you know it's the people, for the people, by the people, to the people, with the people. That's been the whole storyline with crypto, right? Like, you probably see some crypto fans in the comments attacking. But I've made a lot of videos on my podcast channel, Conversations with Uncle Kevin, where I've spoken about this, where I felt with crypto there's a lot of weird things. With this one, I get it's not a crypto, it's an exchange or whatever it was, but then there's a lot of red flags. And then I don't know how this guy, like, he didn't come through my radar because I would have picked this up. What he was doing, what I was explaining in this video, is essentially he needed capital, which we all do, right? And then he's like, "Oh, how do I get capital? I can start an exchange. On the exchange, people will trade money for people will trade money for on his exchange, and then use that exchange to finance his business, which is a trading business. And then he created a coin which essentially he's buying his coin, making it inflate, and then people on his exchange buying the same coin. Like, come on, bro. Like, somebody should have been able to see this because the paper trail is there. That's the good thing with money. But I think we live in a time whereby people are mesmerized by these billionaires because everybody's like, especially when you don't have money, you're just looking for somebody. Like the way, you look at Elon Musk, the way these guys have just blown up in the past 3 years. I think we all have to take time and step back and be like, hey, something is off here, because definitely something is off. If something we cannot tell where the intrinsic value or where the utility of something is, we all have to question these things because there's a problem and people are losing money. In this case, it's $32 billion was wiped out. Like, if I lose $10, man, like if I lose $10 right now, I'll be stressed out. If 32 billion is lost, just like that, like, you can send the men to jail, but people have been investing their pension funds. People have been investing their life savings trying to get rich quick, because in the pandemic, we all saw what happened. Like, Bitcoin went from, I don't know, 10,000 to almost 60,000. Like, people are looking for these opportunities just to earn because we live in a recession. We're living in a time where things are just super expensive. So, yeah, I really hope this guy gets what's coming for him because in this case, everything was pre planned. He knew what he was doing. It's just that if you try to trick people, and that's the problem with hope, is if you try to trick people, eventually it catches up with you, right? And in this case, a lot of people, I feel like, have to be held accountable, especially these so-called experts. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of the red flags that we all missed. I didn't miss them because I didn't even know they existed. So let us know in the comment section. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.